Alright, so something I've noticed playing at lower levels is that tanks seem to be a bit stronger at lower levels, especially if they are higher rarity, because um, if they're higher rarity, that means they automatically start at a higher level. Most people that are in silver are level 1 or 2, so if you have a level 3 card, it's just automatically going to be stronger than the level 1 and 2 common cards. So that's something to take into account. And also, even though Face the Saint was recently nerfed, at lower elos, people just can't seem to really deal with them very well. So I've been having quite a bit of fun getting to silver using the Face the Saint. I kind of just plop it down and then everything dies. So what I'm currently running is 2 Ballisters, 4 Hammer Scouts, 3 Spine Shells, 3 War Pigs, 2 Snowy Owl Fighters, 4 Macers, 3 Red Witches, 3 Mad Axes, um, 4 Brute Axes, and 2 Faceless Saints. So this deck is fairly similar to the deck I run at much higher on my main account. The only differences would be that I wouldn't be using Macers. They're not necessarily a bad card, but at least when it comes to with Spine Shell, because if you get a optimal sense proc, even at level 1, they'll be healing for about 480 HP, which is another about at least I want to say 200 damage, yeah, done for each time you play, for each time you activate the proc for their sense. But it never really happens like that. You never get optimal procs for the sense for Macers. So that's why I don't normally run it in my main. I've been debating using Clerics, especially since I've been using Faceless Saint, but so far I haven't really needed to make any adjustments to my deck, but it's definitely something I've considered. Um, so Ballisters are just a good DPS unit. Hammer Scouts are one of my favorite units. They work very well with Spine Shell because they have a large HP pool, and they do a decent amount of damage. And these are both shape units that proc sense very well. Spine Shell I've already covered. It's just a great card that just kills everything. The only weaknesses it has are War Pigs and Painlings, and then stuff like maybe like Nuke, Carpet Bomb, and AP Strafing. Stuff like that are spells or suicide attacks that don't have anywhere to reflect damage. But other than that, it just melts Guardians and units. War Pigs, just great AoE removal and also a really great tool to deal damage to the enemy Guardian. Snowy Owl Fighters can lock down a single unit, so they're very good against tanks like Faceless Saint or against legendary units. Macers are a decent tank. I'm using them as a substitute for what I would normally use since I'm lacking cards. Red Witches are a decent card. I normally only run 1 or 2 in my deck in my main account. I'm not really a huge fan of them because the attack speed is so slow. It just feels like they never get anything done. But they're a decent unit. Mad Axes are amazing for DPS. I'm so glad I got them, and they can be used in both Beast and Empire, so that's useful for me. Of course, their senses every time you play a unit, they gain permanent attack speed. I don't remember if it caps. Let me check. Nope. Okay, it doesn't cap. It doesn't cap, so they just keep gaining attack speed. And then Faceless Saint, I would never run Faceless Saint on my main, but like I said, at lower levels it does a lot of nice work. I've also been debating putting in shields, especially since I'm running Faceless Saint. It's really nice for the Brute Axes because sometimes I have trouble getting them to the enemy Guardian, and that just helps do it. And on my main, I run 1 shield in my deck. Um, I feel like Empire's kind of strong at lower elos, or maybe it's just because I have access to a lot of the cards I would use in the for a regular. How do I want to do this? I don't want to do that with Faces. I'll do. It's fairly close to my regular deck on my main, so maybe it's just that I don't have to think of playing any differently. Or maybe it's just because I'm able to use Faceless Saint and nobody knows how to play against it at lower elos. I hope during these matches somebody will do a proper play against the Faceless Saint, so you can see how it goes. Um, I'll try to look for... Let's do this. I'll try to look for a game on my main account where somebody plays a Face of Saint against me, so you can see how I react to it. Because from what I've seen here, playing with Face of Saint and lower elos is that people just don't know how to play against it. So I started with the Face of Saint. That was just a good tank. I played the Balisters to support, deal some extra damage, and I played the War Pigs to kill the Clerics and the Red Witch. I'm going to play another Face of Saint because there's just nothing they'll be able to do against it at that point, unless they have Dorimorph, actually. I actually forgot that card existed because nobody runs it at higher elos because there's nothing to use it against because nobody uses tanks. But it seems like that's not going to be the case. Play a War Pig there to speed up the death of the Red Witch, and the other one should end the game. Alright. So yeah, playing that Face of Saint, actually, now thinking back, that was a fairly large mistake, because if they did have Dorimorph, that might have just ended the game. I'd already done enough damage. I think the little, I can't remember what they're called. I think they're just called Doras. I think the Mandoras, that's what they call it. I think the Mandoras would have been able to be tanky enough at the very least, where I could have played some Balisters or something to finish the job. Especially with the Empire Guardian ability, which is fairly good, especially in that situation. Alright, so we're starting off with a Spine Shell, so I don't really want a Red Witch or Balisters. Okay, 2 Spine Shells, 2 Macers, and a Hammer Scouts. We'll see how this goes. So it's Alien. So if a unit is stunned, their sense will not go off. That's something very important to keep in mind. So you cannot heal the Macers while they're under the influence of the... Okay. Play some near defend. Alright, we can defend with Mad Axes. No, I played the Hammer Scouts too early. I should have waited a little bit so the Mad Axes could have gotten their sense proc. Play this like this, that way that she will die. Ooh, alright, this is a rough start. I was kind of sleeping on the beginning. I didn't really have any good cards for AoE. I'm gonna have to do, oops. Oh, this guy's level 6. Alright, well, I lost that silver. Let's see. I should have played the Spine Shell instead of playing the Macers to kill the Burn Sister. That was a very, that was kind of strange that I went against someone that was level 6. I was told by multiple people, like everyone is saying, that you can't go against somebody that's more than 2 levels higher than your Guardian. But that seems to be false, because I think mine is at most level 3. I think it's level 2, and that was a level 6 opponent. I don't need 2 Red Witches. I should have kept the Red Witch, I guess, so I could have done a Swarm. It's hard to focus on offense, or focus on defense, when you're playing against people like this. Oh, okay. I'm like 90% this person's a bot. I've played against them before. And everything they play doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Maybe they're not a bot. Maybe they're just learning the game. But alright, get the Spine Shell going. So we should do a fair amount of damage. This should proc all the senses, since every unit on the field there had sense. Now I went for my Guardian ability, and that'll end the game. Well, it's already over, but... Alright, I'm not going to count that one. Because otherwise I think that would have been my last game. But that doesn't really suffice as a game. There's nothing really to explain there. Nothing happened. So we'll do one more. So for Empire, Mumford's a really strong tank because it does the AoE attacks, and it's very beefy. So I personally really like Mumford. Right now, I probably like more than Face the Saint, but Face the Saint is currently level 3, whereas my Mumford is level 1, so that's why I'm using Face the Saint. Yeah, okay, so my Guardian's actually level 1 while I was going against level 6. Alright, now we got a lot. Ooh. Let's get more sense procs. Spine Shell would have been better than everything I've gotten so far. Have some more sense. There we go, Spine Shell. So if they don't die... Alright, and that should end it, unless they have Painlings. But even if they do, I have a Red Witch right there. So yeah, that was basically, I just waited for the Shotgunners to get there. I played the Red Witch to deal some damage from the side. Played my Mad Axes, and then I just kept proccing the sense of the Mad Axes and the Red Witch. So the Mad Axes had about 150% increase to attack speed, and the Red Witch would have had a 120% damage buff from their senses. So yeah, and then with all the Hammer Scouts and the Spine Shell, I mean, there's not really too much they could have done. So this will be concluding the Silver series. I'm a little upset I lost the game. It was the mixture of the fact that they're a higher level and that I didn't pay attention. I think I could have beaten them if I wasn't so offense focused, because the mulligans I chose were fairly wrong. At Silver, mulligans don't really matter, but I suppose they would if you are going against a higher level player, because the best way to beat higher level cards is to just make better trades, because all that leveling a card does is just increase like base stats, right? So a level 5 hotshot is going to beat a level, well, there can't be a level 2 hot. A level 6 hotshot is going to beat a level 3 hotshot. There's nothing you can do about that. But a level 5 hotshot is never going to lose against like a level 2 sniper. If you play the sniper correctly, the sniper will kill the hotshot. So it's just stuff like that, to where you have to, your opening hand, you want to have as many options available to you as possible to deal with as many different things that the opponent can play. So if you are struggling against high level players, or not say higher, but like they have high level cards and a high level guardian, that's the best way to deal with them, is to understand how to kill their cards more efficiently. So that way you can still get favorable trades and not have to spend more resources than them to be able to get rid of their cards. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to necessarily show that today, but it's something I do constantly on my main account whenever I post any videos about that. So that'll be a bit more relevant to you if that's specifically what you're struggling to get, which I understand it's definitely a struggle, because I'll see people in diamond or gold that are level like 10 or 11, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Your cards are all like 5 levels higher than mine. How are you still losing and stuck in this elo? And it is frustrating because it seems like you have to play better than them to win by a much larger margin than would normally be expected. So yeah, next tomorrow I'll be releasing the video about the new units, and then I'll also be talking a bit more about the update in general and what it all entails. And then after that, I'll probably be playing some more games on my main account to show off the new cards, and then I'll return to this series going through gold. And this will also give me time to level up or to increase the rank on all my different factions to gold, because let me tell you, unlocking the Empire and then getting to silver in the Empire took a lot longer than I would have liked. I had to spend basically the entire morning just kind of grinding it out. Even though I don't really lose, it took forever to get there, because because I had to gain like 1,000 trophies. If you get Empire to Silver, yeah, you're already past 2,000 trophies, which is like half of the way to being master on everything. Um, so it took a while. So this way I'll have more time to prepare for that and won't have to spend my entire morning just grinding things to gold. Um, so yeah, I'm a little excited about the future content that's going to be coming out. I hope you guys are too. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe and hit the little bell icon to be notified of my future videos. Um, which again, I'm fairly excited about the new unit releases and being able to cover that and everything. I hope this video helped. Best of luck climbing.